Welcome back to your latest industry recap, and I promise today is very much action-packed with some exciting news on the Airbus A220, major improvements at Boeing, and aircraft groundings. Want to begin there. Porter Airlines has expressed frustrations over aircraft groundings and the global engine supply chain crisis. Deja vu, I know, as some of its planes remain grounded. The Canadian-based company heavily relies on deploying E2 jets from Embraer to grow its business not just across Canada but also on trans-border services to the United States. However, the rate at which it can grow is now at risk. Fleet data indicates that 8 E195 E2s remain grounded. This number is continuing to fluctuate, I must add, with the Pratt Whitney PW1000G engines at the forefront of the discussion. During a recent airline leader summit, the airline's CEO stated that at any given point, many of its fleet remains on the ground, incapable of therefore completing the necessary day-to-day operations that they were scheduled and obviously delivered for. For Porter Airlines, the biggest struggle centers around an inability to get the engines that need maintenance sorted on time. The lack of capacity to make this happen means the turnaround time is growing on a steady basis, causing the airline much pain. Worse still, Porter Airlines can't determine when these planes will actually formally return back to their hands and then into service because maintenance timeframes are ballooning out. Due to this, they can't build a feasible schedule, expand, or continue with that growth trajectory that they outlined some time ago. Unfortunately, one of Porter Airlines' most damning realities is the reliability concerns even on freshly delivered E195 E2 jets. The carrier went as far as highlighting that brand new planes that have just been delivered are having issues from the moment they are delivered, meaning that these brand new that are meant to enter service and have passengers jump aboard it are instead being parked and unable to even get away for their first scheduled flight. So it doesn't matter if the plane is 3 years old or 2 months old, it is going to be affected. Porter Airlines also has a reserved view about when these supply chain constraints will actually improve. The airline believes these reliability concerns will continue for at least another 3 years. Unfortunately, if it was to go on for another 36 months, the nature of the groundings would become all too familiar for this company, and it would be their new normal, something they've got to navigate on a daily basis, but obviously something that no airline deserves to go through, especially one like Porter Airlines, who are really attempting to strengthen their market share in and out of Canada. Over to the next story, and staying within Canada, towards some more positive news. Air Canada, the flag carrier, has confirmed it will become the launch customer of the latest Airbus airspace cabin to feature on the A220 family. The first A220, which will be delivered by the plane maker, is expected to arrive in 2026. With these changes, it'll offer customers greater overhead storage space and therefore make flying, hopefully, more comfortable. Airbus's airspace cabin is not necessarily something new, featured on other planes produced by the plane maker, but it has been a big hit already. With more people nowadays skipping checking in their luggage and carrying suitcases aboard their services, we can certainly have our opinions on that. There are equal frustrations and equal benefits to it. Customers are just taking more baggage on the planes, and therefore your overhead compartments are very quickly filling, especially on those single-aisle journeys, which results in limited space for most passengers to put their own belongings. Maybe putting an oversized backpack in the seat in front of you, removing all legroom because someone else has a roll-on suitcase. From personal experience, and I'm sure for those of you that are watching that have flown through a Canadian airport or just generally been around a gate that an Air Canada flight has departing from, you'll know that it's very common to hear the crew saying that they may not be able to accommodate all baggage on flight AC, blah blah blah. As a result, they will offer free checked baggage for those willing. Basically, at the gate, you can pass them off your suitcase and they will check it through to your end destination. However, Airbus says that the new A220 airspace cabin now features extra large bins, which should increase the capacity for bags by more than 15%, and the features do not stop there. There'll also be a new ceiling design and lighting to improve customers' in-flight experience. Air Canada's reliance on the A220 has reached 34 units, which is the number currently operated. However, the airline does also have 31 more jets on order, so you'll be able to see now just why it's so important that they get this right. The A220 has already played a very vital role across the Air Canada network, but I'd argue that that's going to increase tenfold as the airline moves all of its active 737 MAX jets to the Rouge branding. The MAX will not necessarily depart the Air Canada group, but they're making a calculated switch internally. The flag carrier confirms that permitting delays, The transition will have occurred by 2028 and will help balance growth and renewal efforts. See, the thing is, Air Canada has seen substantial increases in demand across its destinations. The Rouge brand was launched in 2012, but now there's a greater focus on meeting that demand, especially on a leisure basis. The carrier is also very much aware that the Rouge branding is beginning to see its fleet age, and the need for a replacement is more than present. As a result, the group is making necessary internal changes to secure the long-term future of this division, and because of this, well, its mainline division will benefit even more from your newly configured cabin on the A220 to play a bigger role in the day-to-day flying. Over to the final story, Boeing has confirmed it delivered 130 aircraft across its commercial airplanes division in the first quarter of 2025. The deliveries represent a substantial jump of over 40% year over year and show improvement across the plane maker, which is certainly something to build upon. Boeing only delivered 43 planes during the first quarter of 2024, so therefore that 130 represents a figure. In each month of the first 3, they were able to deliver more than 40 planes each month, 41 of those in March, which was down on January and February figures. 105 737 family jets were shipped off during Q1, naturally representing the highest number of aircraft delivered during the quarter. The MAX has a pretty substantial backlog. It is produced typically at rapid rates. However, that has not been possible for some time as output rates have been capped, which has meant Boeing has been incapable of producing the plane at the level that it would like to work through that all-important backlog. Other deliveries saw 5 units shipped across the 767 program, 7 for the 777, and 13 jets in the quarter for the popular 787 Dreamliner series. Looking ahead, Boeing has a long road before it can consider itself to be in a stable position. However, many have already confirmed that the plane maker has been making progress in the right direction. Throughout 2024 and into early 2025, the manufacturer has committed to investing significant funds to turn around its fortunes, with a heightened focus on safety and quality alongside transparency in the business from top to bottom. 2025 remains a year where stability will be necessary, as this company must find ways to limit quality control concerns slipping through, and it has to also work towards attaining production increases. The Federal Aviation Administration has already confirmed that oversight will remain on Boeing, and a tight one as well, resulting in lower production levels. However, considering the ongoing supply chain constraints, some arguments may be made that the lower production levels were to be expected, oversight or not, but obviously it has been worsened. Boeing now must prove on a sustained basis that it's making necessary improvements to emphasize that quality drops would not slip into the manufacturer's day-to-day operation if it were to increase output. Obviously, the longer that output rates are capped, the more effects will be on the business and its airline customers who struggle to welcome their planes on time. But certainly a positive 130 aircraft shipped up in the first quarter. They need to now build on that, and hopefully now the tougher months are behind them. Keen to hear your take. Thank you very much. I'm going to head off now before I know inevitably my washing machine starts kicking into a second gear. There it goes. So I'll be heading off, and I'll see you tomorrow for your next industry recap.
And we'll fly.